welcome to this Olympic edition of Herstory. Today on the show, we have none other than the very first female Olympic champion. Hello! British tennis player, Charlotte Cooper. Charlotte, think fast. Oh! Butterfingers. Charlotte, I understand your nickname's Chatty. Can I call you Chatty?
I don't really know why people call me Chatty though, because some people say, well, I talk a lot, but then I tell them, well, no, I don't really talk all that often. I talk when I'm, I feel compelled to talk and when I have things to talk about. And if you're talking about tennis, then my goodness, I can go on and on and on, of course. But I don't really understand why it would be that someone would call me Chatty.
Well, if you'd shut up for a minute, I will. You competed in the 1900 Olympics in Gay Paris, the very first games to admit women.
There weren't very many of us, only around 22 women who participated in the 1900 Paris Olympics. Only golf and lawn tennis, my speciality, included women's only events.
What about rhythmic gymnastics?
At the time, also in Paris, the exposition was going on. The Olympics really were yet another attraction. Nonetheless, that did allow me on July 11th, 1900 to beat the French Helene Provost in the women's singles event and become, like you said, the first female Olympic champion. I do want to acknowledge for American viewers that a couple of days after my historic win, Margaret Abbott of Chicago did win the golfing event, making her the very first American female Olympic winner.
Now, who was your sponsor? Were you a Nike girl, a Reebok lady?
Really, your only sponsor was, say, your Blue Blood.
No, what?
The Olympics at that time were sort of a leisure activity for the wealthy. You had to be able to afford to already be vacationing, say, in Paris, or have a home in Europe, or in my case, to just be able to travel there.
When you went to the Olympics, what was your tennis wardrobe?
What do you mean? I'm wearing my tennis uniform now.
This is happening in July?
This was a Victorian era, you see. There were no ankles showing allowed.
Chatty, I hate to bring this up, but you must have had horrendous pit stains.
A lady never sweats.
Charlotte.
Yes, it was very hot. I just don't want to talk about it.
Well, Charlotte, let's move away from the Olympics for un moment to your personal tennis herstory. You were a bit of a shoo-in for the significant Olympic win. You were essentially the best female player in the world. How did that come about?
Well, I grew up playing at the Ealing Tennis Club in Britain. Apparently, I had quite a knack for it. By the time I reached the Olympics, you see, I already had 3 Wimbledon titles under my belt, or should I say, under my girdle.
How did you keep fit? What was your exercise regimen?
In the wintertime, there was no tennis playing because it was an exclusively outdoor sport back then. In order to stay in shape, I would run occasionally, but I would also walk and do a lot of skipping.
Skipping?
And I played on a hockey team.
One thing that might have given you an advantage on that Olympic tennis court is the fact that you were one of the only female players to do a certain something.
I served overhead. That, in fact, was something that women rarely did before World War I.
The thing about it is, Chatty, that's so incredible about you.
Who, me?
Yes, you. I'm looking at you, girl.
Me?
Yes. Yes!
No, you!
You!
Someone behind me!
There's no one behind you! You!
I'm blushing.
This Olympic win, significant though it is to women's athletic history, is merely a footnote in your tennis resume. As all this is going on, you were reaching the Wimbledon finals 8 years in a row, a record that would only be broken in 1990 by none other than Martina Navratilova.
Navratilova who?
And in 1908, you won Wimbledon at the age of 37 with 2 children in the stands.
What was your secret? Was it that skipping you were talking about?
The skipping probably helped.
Chatty, you are a gold medal in my book. But speaking of which, I am a smidgen disappointed you showed up without it.
About that.
Where's your Olympic bling, woman?
I sort of gave away all of my trophies and medals to my gardener. He's a good gardener.
Well, Charlotte Cooper, I tell you what, I will give you something for your accomplishments that is just as valuable. This pretend trophy that I bought at a secondhand store.
Oh, look at it! My gardener will love it.
Well, Charlotte, Chatty Cooper, thanks so much for coming on the show and for making Olympic herstory.
Yes.